Hello again, folks. Right, it is 6:24, 2 hours difference on my server, or broker's server, should I say. And I've been awake for about 3 hours, I think, 2 or 3 hours. I always get quite excited on Monday morning, start trading again, proper trading, not the crypto stuff. And because I was awake, I thought I'd just do my normal analysis on the chart. So I started with an absolutely clean chart this morning on the monthly and drew all my lines on the chart, and then dropped down to the weekly and drew the levels on the all the candles, highs and lows that I thought may affect the direction of price. Then a couple of ascending trend lines and one descending trend line, and these are drawn on absolute extremes of candles that cause the price to move up, and then also on the line charts, which is where the candles sort of it's an aggregate of the close, mean or average, whichever is the right expression. Then just go right through down to the daily, and you can see all the levels there. Monthly low, an old monthly low that would act as resistance, and you can see it's clearly affected the price there. Then we've got a monthly high, and these are all the dates and times and so on and so forth. And I just keep doing this to get an idea of what, really to give me an idea of where price might go. I mean, as you can see, there is nothing between here and that monthly high there. So if it breaks through with a nice strong trend through these levels of support here, then it's very likely that it's going to go quite a lot higher. Those are my thought processes, but remember, I'm a short-term scalper, so I just like to do this, as I said to you, to actually tune myself in with the current day's activities, as it were. H1, and we've got the this is from Digger, the H18 MA. Price is above that, so that's good to the longs. And also, of course, all the way through this, as I'm drawing the lines, I'm studying the my indicators. And this one, I say every time, but it's getting more and more, it's having more and more importance to me. I like it a lot. It gives me more information than my old Die-Hard here, that if you've watched my other videos, you'll know that it's a proprietary indicator and I can't share it. But this one isn't. RSI Histo Alert, and in my opinion it's probably better. So all these time frames are telling me I've got to go long right through to the H1 and M30, and this is now where I start to get excited about what this is telling me. M30, you can clearly see that's above zero and green there. We'd had pullbacks and then continuations, a nice few hours of steady upwards motion. This is, of course, just a pullback in a very, very strong down move that we had last week. So be aware, it's just short scalps, and that's what I do. So this morning's trade was based on, excuse me, we're on the 5-minute chart now, and I entered because the 15-minute actually caused my entry. And I will, Alex Brookshaw, I will create a video to answer your questions, but it possibly might, I'm not quite sure precisely what you were asking, whether I trade the 15, 5-minute or 1 minute. I take my bias from the higher time frames, obviously. So from this point of view, I would have entered on the 15-minute because of, or using the 15-minute for my guidance, because of this popping up from the retracement red to green on the 15, so I couldn't possibly consider entering when it was red, of course, and then just use the lower time frames to fine-tune my entry. So if this had been red, then I would have had to have waited for that to turn green as well, and vice versa, and likewise that one. And then the M1, you can clearly see what happened there. We had pullbacks as well, so I was probably waiting for just a break of this recent little bit of resistance here, which we popped up there, and I thought it was going to go to this level here, which you can see my take profit is, and in fact I had a little bit of drawdown, but I had Diggers 8 MA below me, 360 on the 1 minute, of course, and you know, when you look at that as well on the other time frames, the price has respected it very, very solidly, as it were. So a stop, although I didn't put a stop on, a stop down here at about 15 pips would have been my cue to get out. In fact, you could have drawn a support line as well there, support, support, support. So just below that would have been the sensible place to put a stop. Having said that, we'll let them, if the price action, because remember I'm a price action candlestick and indicator trader, if the price actions still look good to the long side, then that's why I don't put hard stops on unless I'm making a cup of tea or coffee. I would have still considered this to be long, because remember the driving force is the M30 and the H1, and they haven't changed to bearish. Now if they change to bearish, then definitely you got to think about getting out. But this is where the RSI, now we're looking at the 30, gives you so much more information. You know, things like this, you know, unfortunately it's all sort of in my head, and I forget to mention these things, but this is perfect. This is still bearish while it's bullish while it's above the zero line. So this one here was giving me conflicting information, which is why I consider this to be far better than this. But it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But you can rely on that, and maybe use a MACD or a CCI as your belt and braces. Here's your belt, there's your braces, as it were, if you need to, or you can just stick with this. But I often find this one is I like the added the added security, if you like, because I've had it on my charts for 15 years, so why dump it now? And as you can see, I left another twice or as many pips as I made on the table again as well. So, and notice how it hit that weekly low there and used it as resistance. That's why these levels are so useful to have on your charts. So it's well worth doing that, in my opinion. So sorry if it sounds a bit of a long-winded video, but that's my day's money made by 6:35 in the morning, or less than that actually, wasn't it? It was by about 6:20. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a sniffle. So thanks for watching, and have another great day.